Hey everyone, Persephone here. I know it's been a little bit of time since my last video. Life's been super busy. I've had a lot of weddings. September, October is my busy season for weddings in my work as a wedding celebrant. So I've just been kind of burning the candle at both ends and feeling kind of run down as a result. And I just have to say to those of you who work a full-time job and yet still manage to regularly create like good YouTube content and like do this all the time, kudos to you. I'm amazed and inspired, and I have no idea how you do it because like I only have so much energy and as much as I want to do this, it can be really challenging to muster the energy sometimes. So as you can see, I cut my hair pretty short. Not because I don't like my longer hair, but because it's just easier. I will let it grow out. I like my hair longer, but I'm just like in that mode of I need life to be manageable. I need to make things as manageable as possible. So anyway, I've been wanting to make a video. I have like a whole list of, ideas for videos I want to make. So anyway, today I thought, okay, I'm finally feeling like I have some energy that I can give to this. But I only got so much. Like, if you look too close at my face, like, I didn't even bother putting makeup on. Let's be honest, I didn't even take a shower today. Like, I'm just like, okay, we're doing this. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. So what I wanted to bring to you and share with you is decks that I personally recommend for non-readers. Now, what do I mean by this? First of all, I don't mean that these decks are not good for tarot readers, because I'm a tarot reader and I have these decks and I love these decks. But I wanted to give some ideas for people who are not tarot readers. And I would say this is for people who know that they're not going to put the time and energy into studying the tarot and learning to become a tarot reader. These decks, I think, would be good for you. It's also good for people who maybe are thinking about really kind of studying and learning the tarot, but aren't sure where to start and all that kind of stuff. Also, most of these decks are going to show my bias in the way that I personally read. I don't tend to be I'm not a predictive reader necessarily. I do this work in the context of being a minister. It's part of my ministry as an interspiritual minister. It's sort of the kind of reading that I do it's wrapped in this sort of spiritual coaching, counseling framework. So it's different. So the kind of what I am showing is decks that I think can be used more in that kind of way for guidance and spiritual growth and insight, things like that, rather than that sort of predictive, fortune-telling kind of way, which, no shade to people who do that. That's just not necessarily what I do for the most part. Or where I think that my gifts are being called to, the way my gifts are being called to be used. So, okay. So with that said, I have 5 decks that I recommend, and I'll kind of go through why, and then a couple of honorable mentions, if that makes sense. So, and the reason that I have been wanting to do this is because I've had a number of people come to me who are not tarot readers, right? They don't really know anything about reading tarot. They don't even know a lot about the tarot. And they have a tarot deck that's like, a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith or, some kind of like old deck they've had for a long time, like super traditional. And they just look in the booklet and they're given the Celtic cross. So the first thing I want to say to you, and there might be other tarot readers who really disagree with me, this is all like my opinions that I'm giving you. If you are new to tarot, please do not even bother yourself with a Celtic cross. And I know that there are other tarot readers who agree with me about this. It's a terribly cumbersome spread. It is not, if you're just starting out, this is not going to be helpful for you. I remember getting my very first deck. It's going on 20 years now. And I would sit down and I had like this poster that gave you like the Celtic cross, and I would try to do it. And I can remember feeling like so frustrated. I would just cry because I had no fucking idea what this was really saying. I had like a little white book that gave me a couple of keywords or phrases, but I couldn't do what I needed to do to read that spread. It was terribly frustrating and just self-defeating. And so my advice to you, whether you're a non-reader who wants to use tarot cards, or you're a new reader who's like just getting started, please do not even try a Celtic cross. And I have been reading, I'm dabbling for about 20 years, but consistently studying and reading for several years now. And I still don't, I don't like a Celtic cross. I could do it if I needed to, but honestly, I don't personally feel that spreads with that many cards, because of the way that I read, I don't feel that those kinds of spreads are very useful. So anyway, that's my first tip for you. Okay, so looking at tarot decks, the first deck that I'm going to recommend to non-readers is the Animal Wisdom Tarot. Now, I think most of these decks, they could be used more like oracle decks, right? Where there's a beautiful image on the card that you can sit and, you can just meditate on the image, but then there's good stuff in the book. It's all about the book for me in this kind of context. It's all about the book. With this deck, you do not have to be a tarot reader to use this deck to draw like just a card for inspiration, for insight, for something to meditate on throughout the day, for just a little piece of spiritual wisdom and insight, right? This deck. So you look at these images. I love this. So this is the death card in a traditional deck, right? Yes. So this is a really beautiful, beautiful deck. I do tend to like decks that don't have people in them. Now, not all the decks I'm going to recommend are like that, but I love an animal deck. I love non-people decks. So this is a mass market deck. I think you can get it for around $15. So this is the book that comes with it. I mean, you can see it's not a tiny book, right? It's not super thick. It's not overwhelming or anything. But again, for non-readers, I believe the book is key. So if we look here, so all of the branches, which would be wands in a traditional deck, it's the suit of fire. So you can see that red stripe at the top. For fire, you have for pentacles, traditionally, they have fossils, which I think is beautiful. It's earth, it's green. So it makes it really easy. And then we've got feathers or air, yellow. Cups, or shells in this deck, watery, this blue. So it's really nice. Yeah, and so if we look at this, it tells you that they like this. We'll just look at the salmon, the 9 of shells, which would traditionally be a 9 of cups. The element is water. It gives you that. And it tells you traditionally it would be the 9 of cups. The theme, success, satisfaction, integration, return to self. And then it has a little blurb about what's happening in it. Swimming strongly and efficiently upstream, a large salmon leaps from the water, shimmering in the sunshine. Receiving this card indicates success, abundance, wisdom, and awakening. We feel fulfilled and joyful, in love with life. Overcoming tremendous obstacles as it returns home to spawn a new generation, salmon reminds us to come home to ourselves. You've learned to trust your instincts, rely on inner strength, and persist with courage and determination. Salmon's cycle signals transformation as you complete a spiritual journey. So this is a really spiritually oriented writing in this, which is what I personally go for, and that's what I recommend to people who are looking for, again, not being a tarot reader, but wanting to work with tarot for spiritual guidance, inspiration, wisdom. So I'm not going to read all of it. And then it's got just like always like a sentence of a message. It says, leap high and aim clear, go for what you really want. So it's really beautiful. It's really inspiring. And again, you do not have to know anything about tarot to pick up this deck and just draw like a card a day and meditate on what the book says and, think about how it applies to your life. It's just good spiritual wisdom. Yeah, and it says, so it's Animal Wisdom Tarot by Dawn Brunke, illustrated by Ola Leola, which is such an interesting name, an inspirational guide to using tarot cards and their meanings. So there's that one. So that was a mass market. Now I am going to put this indie deck in here, even though it's no longer available in this version. This is the Light Seers Tarot. This deck blows me away. And honestly, since I got this deck, this is the only deck I've reached for in client sessions. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, this deck will be available December 2019 from Hay House Mass Market. Okay, so you will be able to get the deck. Now, the Hay House version is not going to come with the book, which I'm going to talk about, but I did contact the creator, Chrisanne Donnelly, and she didn't give me like a definitive answer on what will happen with the book, but it sounds like there may be an opportunity for people in the future who buy the Hay House deck to get their hands in some capacity on her writing about the cards. I don't have anything more than that to say about it that I know. But anyway, I wanted to throw this in there because I do think that you will be able at some point to get your hands on her writing. Even if it's, I'm hoping, even if she just makes it available in a PDF document. So you can see this is one of the people decks. I said I don't tend to go for people decks, but this deck is the deck that I have been going to consistently with my clients. I am so in love with this. And yes, the images are just phenomenal. Her artwork is stunning, and her sense of her connection to spirit, to source, you can feel it. You can feel it in her artwork, and I will tell you, you can feel it in her writing about her artwork in these cards. I love this 6 of Cups. I mean, that is such a card of nostalgia. Sorry, my cards are blurry. I think I need to block my face out so that they're not blurry. So these cards are absolutely stunning. Okay, and you can see there are some hard images in here. It's not, I mean, it's light and shadow in here. Okay. The book. So this is the book that comes. Look at this chunky monkey right here. Oh my Lord. So I'm going to look at, gosh, if I could find the card. I had a coaching session with someone recently. You know, some of my sessions are more coaching than tarot. Some are heavier on the tarot than others. This one, we had a very full coaching session, and I just drew one card at the end, and it was so perfect. It was just so perfect for everything that she's been going through and the culmination of what's happening in her life. And it was this beautiful world card. And I could just see that as her. I mean, just perfect, just perfect. Now, you could draw this card knowing nothing about the tarot. And it has key concepts. And I love that she puts it as light seer and shadow seer rather than like upright and reversed. I don't read reversals. I see every card contains the light and shadow, and I think it depends on context for me of where it falls in a spread. So, so light seer, completion, achievement, joy, finishing a large project, goals met, wholeness, happy endings. This is a woman who's getting married next week. So this was so perfect. Abundance, success, transcendence, new levels of consciousness. And then it'll have the shadow seer. And then it goes into the experience overview. And just listen to the way she talks about this. The world steps into her Ouroboros ring, ready to celebrate her achievements. Now, the Ouroboros, for those of you who don't know, it's that snake eating its own, like eating itself, that perpetual cycle. As she steps up, the ring begins to ascend, light shining down from above and flooding her senses with the soft hum of her keys. Success, completion, you did it. It carries her higher, and she feels her whole body begin to vibrate with this upgrade of consciousness. She senses the union of her spiritual and earthly selves, and her reality shifts as her inner spiritual landscape merges with her outer reality. She remembers that moment long ago when she first stepped off the edge of the cliff and into the Fool card, falling right into a sacred geometric lesson with all of her innocence in tow. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing. That was like not even half of what is in here. That was maybe a quarter of it. And that was just the experience overview. And then we get to the message, and she tells you the World card is one of the most positive and abundantly rich cards in the tarot. It's filled with so much joyful energy of completion. Congratulations, sweet seer. You've come so far. So that you can see, and there's still so much more, that this is, I'm really hoping that I wanted to put this in there because I am hopeful that you'll be able to purchase a book from her. I hope, crossing fingers, sending up all the prayers, or at least, on her website or a PDF or something, because her writing is phenomenal. And the thing about all of these that I'm going to show you is, they're guidebooks. Yes, it will talk specifically about the imagery of those particular cards, but still the wisdom of it could be used with any deck. So that's the second one. I'm going to try to move a little faster. I'm going to go with this one, the Art of Love Tarot. This is a beautiful, I mean, look how big this box is. It's a Blue Angel deck published. It's the artwork of Tony Carmine Salerno, which there are a lot of like oracle decks and stuff with his artwork. This deck was created, so Denise Jarvie, who's very familiar with tarot, she basically got permission to go through his collection of artwork and choose the images that she felt resonated with her understanding of each of the tarot cards. So it's a beautiful set, beautiful cards. Again, I mean, you can order this off of like Amazon or Barnes & Noble, or probably, oh, what's the one? Book Depository, something like that. So if you're familiar with oracle decks and things, you know, I'm trying to see, I have Gaia Oracle as Tony Carmine Salerno. But this is specifically, very specifically chosen to be, to go with Denise Jarvie's understanding of the tarot cards. So stars for fire, for wands, right? Because stars are fire, right? They're balls of fire. So I think that that's really beautiful. Let's see. Page of Stars. I love that card. Look at that Emperor. Angels, air. So instead of swords, we get angels. I love it. Hearts, cups. And then I should get more stars. Oh, look at that Lovers card. So beautiful. And we're not getting to the Pentacles, which in this deck, oh, so beautiful, are represented by trees. Here we go. Nope. Show an example. And let's see. Here we go. Here's one of the trees. Now, again, something that tarot readers tend to dislike. Not all of us, but a lot of us dislike keywords on cards. But keywords on cards are fantastic if you are not a tarot reader, right? But you want to work with a deck. You like the idea of working with tarot and the structure of it, those 78 cards and everything that they bring, just how comprehensive it is. But you don't know. Like, for most of us, it takes a lot of years of study and practice to get to the point where we really can call ourselves, yes, I'm a tarot reader. I can pick up a deck and I can read with it, and I can work with that imagery, whatever it is, and I can make sense of it. It took a lot, at least for me. Once I finally got to that point where I realized that I could do that, I cried. And I just admitted to crying twice about things in this video, but different kind of crying than I mentioned earlier. This was a good kind of crying. Yeah, this art and his artwork is stunning, stunning, stunning. Okay, so yes, the keywords I think are so great for people who, are either just starting out, or you're not trying to become a tarot reader, right? You want to work with it. You want the wisdom of it. I don't need to keep saying it over and over again. So here's this nice big book, right? It's not super thick, but it's a good size, easy to read. So it'll give you, let's see, a good one. Let's look at the Four of Angels, okay? Now you get a whole page for every card, whether it's a major or a minor, it doesn't matter. You get a whole page for it. And if we look at the Four of Angels, you can see you get the little picture of the card, and it tells you the key word again, rest. And then you have a little blurb, the projection of wounds, outdated beliefs, and false ideas onto the world leaves one battle worn. It is time to rest, heal, and transform. So again, this is really a deck geared for, I believe, spiritual healing. And then it has a description of the card. A beautiful angel retreats to a healing sea of love high above the clouds. She wraps herself within her healing wings, cocooning herself in a cave of serenity to be reborn. The road to perdition is paved with good intentions, and this angel found herself moving in a direction that split her from her divinity. She continued for a while in the belief that if she could assist just one more human, all would be well. Instead, her journey took her further from love until instinctively she closed her eyes and spiraled inward to her center. Love is her foundation. You do not need to know anything about the tarot to pick up this deck and pull this card and see that it says rest, and to read this description and then go into the meaning, which is the Four of Angels prescribes some quiet time for rest, rebalance, and recuperation. 4 is the number of foundations, and you can find some peace by connecting to the basic building blocks of your life. Rest here for a while. You are exhausted. Your body and mind need some downtime. Have a massage or a healing. Whatever has brought you to this place, whether it be health, relationship, or career challenges, now is not the time to try and work out why. Walk away and find balance before re-engaging with an issue. Leave and breathe. Focus on what soothes and eases you. In this softening of mind, body, and spirit, you will float into a place of solutions. So how beautiful is that? And again, I'm a tarot reader and I love this. So this isn't to say these are only for beginners or only for non-readers. I think these are for everybody. But again, if you're not a tarot reader, you can pick up this deck and just say, Spirit, I need a message for today. I need some guidance. I need some wisdom, and just tune into this message. And then it's nice, she does put the Rider-Waite correlation at the bottom. And I think there's some stuff, she goes into detail. She has a chart of correspondences for, so you can see here what the suits are in the Art of Love Tarot, what they are in a Rider-Waite-Smith, the keywords, the element, the astrological signs. So she does a lot of that. In the beginning, giving you some good information about each of the suits, a good page at least on each of the suits, how to use the deck, some things like that. So love this deck. I definitely recommend this. Yeah. So, okay. The last one before I get to my honorable mentions is the Naked Heart. And the reason is, again, Jillian Wilde, the way she writes about these cards and their messages, it speaks on such a soul, heart, spirit level. Her cards are really simple. Again, this is more of an animal deck. So this is another one of those cards decks that I love. I love simple, really simple images. I love animals and nature in my decks. So I'll show you some of the images before we get into the book. So she completely changed the book for the 3rd edition, which is what is available now. If you have an Amazon Prime membership, at least in the US, I don't know about other countries, but you can order this deck from Amazon Prime, from Amazon with free shipping. Now you can also order it directly from her. I think it's $40 or $45, which is fantastic for an independently published deck, and especially a deck of this quality. So I love this Two of Wands. I think it's so beautiful. Yeah, I love these cards. I love this deck. This is one of my go-tos for client readings, and for myself. Okay, so let me see, because I love it so much, I'm going to look at that Two of Wands. Now, the way she changed her guidebook, this isn't a very long. That's okay. Some of them are longer, some of them are shorter. So you can see each card gets a page. There's a teeny tiny picture of the card in there. Some of the messages are longer. Like you can see this Heart or Queen of Wands that really takes up the whole page. So, okay, but let's just look at this. This is a nice, short, simple one. Okay. So she gives a message. It's just a message that is essentially an affirmation. So Two of Wands, and at the top, it'll give you a couple of or 3 keywords: choice, growth, expansion. Okay. This says the Naked Heart message. I am lucky to have choices in this life, even when they don't feel comfortable to make. Connecting to my intuition and innate instincts is the most reliable way to make the choice that feels right for me. When my energy is united and I choose with clarity, my future unfolds with strength and creativity of transformation. And you can see a lot of these talk about transformation. I am a deep transformational coach, so as part of the work that I do. So this should not be surprising to anybody. And then for each of them, this says crystal ball, familiar, but most of the decks have animals. It'll say whatever it is, familiar whispers. When you listen to the guidance of your higher self, you can make no wrong choice. And then again, the heart disconnect, which is the shadow, right? What's in shadow for you? Or some people would call it the reversed meaning. It's always a question I ask myself. Is choosing not to choose for myself keeping me stagnant or stuck? So this is just, I love what she did with this. And I'm going to read one more. This was actually the one I pulled for my birthday, if I can find it here. Okay, the Three of Pentacles. Let me see if I can find long. But I mean, if you're like me, I'm always like, oh, good, a nice long tarot video. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. I have more than a couple of decks that have ants for the Three of Pentacles, which makes so much sense. So that was my birthday card a couple of months ago. And I loved what she says about it. So it's goals, inspiration, and collaboration. These are the keywords. Ambition and drive. Oh, wait. So the message, again, it's written in the form of an affirmation. So it says, I have the talent, ambition, and drive to succeed. And when I call in my support team, I have an opportunity to bring my dreams to life. Working together as a team helps build my inner strength and a sense of belonging. I welcome feedback and new opportunities as I continue to work to build my dreams into reality. Everyone offers a new piece of knowledge or skill that I can add to my personal toolbox. This helps me expand and grow and fulfill me. Ant familiar whispers. A unifying force is more powerful than one. And then the heart disconnect. I ask myself, is it possible I can expand beyond my current situation? So the messages aren't long, but man, do they pack a punch. So I 100% recommend this deck. And again, it's an indie deck that is not, I mean, indie decks can go for easily 50, 60, 70, 80, like easily. The lower end of cost for independently published decks is about 40. So this is fantastic. And again, you can order it directly through Jillian Wild's site, or you can order this, the Naked Heart Tarot, through Amazon and get free shipping if you have a Prime membership. So, okay, those are the 5 that I recommend wholeheartedly. And then I have 2 more honorable mentions, which are so different from those 5 that I just recommended. It's these 2. I'm covering them. Let me see. Okay, so this is probably the only time you will ever see me recommend anything Doreen Virtue. I won't get into that. So with the Angel Tarot cards, and then this deck is entirely Radleigh Valentine, who did the art for the Angels deck. This Faerie Tarot cards is entirely Radleigh Valentine. Surprisingly, the last few days, I actually woke up in the middle of the night, like 3 nights ago maybe, thinking about this Faerie deck and just feeling a need to work with this deck. I'm going to be like straight up honest. I ordered these decks thinking that they were going to be good as I start like teaching like workshops and things for beginners. And also I wanted to have some really accessible decks for, I have a number of little girls in my life who may at some point start getting curious about tarot, and I wanted something that was going to be not too, I'm not someone who shies away from like the shadow and darkness of life, of tarot, like it's there, but I think that like a 10-year-old doesn't need that, you know what I mean? So something that was going to be accessible to them as they're kind of coming up and getting interested. So I have the thing that these 2 decks share in common, like they each have a decent little guidebook that they come with. So that's nice. But they also come, this is so fantastic, they're color coded. So you have like a dark purple for the major arcana in the Angel deck. You have, and these are suited by their elements. There's no extra like wands are the suit of fire. This is just straight up fire, right? Red. This is straight up the suit of water, blue. So again, these are fantastic if you're not a tarot reader, if you're a beginner tarot reader, really any of them, but these decks are great, I think, for beginners. Now, the other thing you may have noticed, okay, here's a dark blue for air. There's phrases at the bottom of these. And then earth, green. So you can pick a card from either of these decks. Oh, the Faerie one has an even chunkier book. Angels aren't my thing, so I don't really work with that deck. Honestly, fairies aren't really my thing. So I don't know why all of a sudden I needed to use this deck, but I tend to, sometimes I just need a hug, right? And this deck does, it has been doing that for me. It's been really clear and straightforward. So we have the suits are seasons, and they didn't make sense to me at first, but when I wrote about why the author chose to do them the way they're done, I get it. So let's see here. The courts or the people actually have keywords at the top and then a blurb at the bottom for the meaning. This one's super sweet. And so it's the same kind of, it's the same colors as the angel deck. So you can tell, this deep red, that's fire, right? Traditionally wands. And a purple again for the majors. And you've got this kind of watery blue for summer, being cups or water. So let's just look at this one. So it's this, and it's beautiful artwork. I mean, it's got a lot more going on than I tend to go for, but come on, focus. Sorry, I can't get it to focus. It's this like little fairy couple in a boat, or actually I think it's just a regular couple in a boat with two little fairies with them. 10 of summer, 10 of cups. It says, an emotionally fulfilling life with family or friends, raising children wisely, people you can trust. Boom, there it is. So you could just pick up this deck and pull a card and just go with what it says on the card. 3 of winter. I was having a rough day yesterday, guys. I was struggling with some health stuff, but also like it affects my thoughts, and I get into a loop, and it's just, so I love this 3 of winter, which is basically, it would be the 3 of swords. Winter is air in this deck. And the very first line on it says, reach out to others for comfort and love. And I was just like, of course, that's exactly what I needed. And I should have known that. Reach out to others for comfort and love. You will grow stronger from this situation. Sadness that will heal with time. So, and then I'm trying to if I can find the one I pulled the day before, which was like, and I'm letting myself get comfortable with, I tend to want the cards to say like really big things, and often they do, like when I'm reading for clients and stuff, but if I'm doing a daily draw for myself, like there's only so many big things that the cards can tell me, right? And so I've been looking for, the little things. 6 of spring is what I got the day before that, which is the 6 of wands. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love this. And it says, wonderful news is on its way. Smart choices that bring rewards, success and public recognition. So it's like just a great, successful card. And maybe an hour after I drew this card, I got a message about somebody telling me that the check was in the mail, that they were, they loved meeting with me about their wedding, and they definitely wanted to move forward and book me. And, so again, that's not unusual for me, but still, like every time I get that feedback that, oh, we loved meeting you and we love what you do and you get us and we want you to do our wedding and the check is in the mail. Like, that's great news. Like, who doesn't want to hear that, right? So anyway, these are, I keep putting this in the wrong way. So hopefully that was helpful to somebody out there looking for decks that you can work with, whether you know anything or nothing about tarot. You can be an experienced tarot reader. You can be just starting out wanting to become a tarot reader. You can be like, nah, I'm good. I just want some spiritual inspiration and wisdom and guidance. And I want a deck that, you know, because oracle decks, I have found, are typically smaller and, sorry, my mom keeps trying to call me. Go away. I'll call her when we're done. But can sometimes only have like 40 or 50 cards in them. There's just something really just comprehensive about the 78 card tarot deck. So some people might want to work with a tarot deck as they would an oracle deck, where you don't have to spend years studying a system, but you get the wisdom and the guidance, and the spiritual nourishment and beauty of the tarot. So I hope I didn't babble too much. Again, I've been just super busy and tired. So this was just sort of a fly by the seat of my pants kind of video, like not reading a script or anything. This was just my thoughts. So anyway, if you haven't yet, I encourage you to subscribe, hit the bell if you want to get notifications when I post, because if you are a subscriber, you know that not as consistent as I would like to be. But I'm getting there. So anyway, I would love your feedback about these decks. And, you know, even if it's, you know, you end up watching this and getting one or two of these decks and it's, you know, months later, let me know. Let me know. I would love to hear your feedback on how this works for you. If you already have some of these decks, how they work for you, what you think, if you agree, if you disagree. Yeah, love to hear it. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And hopefully it won't be too long till I see you again or you see me again. All right, take care, my friends.